Frank didn't realize it, but you know how much of an influence you guys had on my life. I mean, you know, my whole life turned around. I mean, I haven't been in trouble in 30 years.
No, I know you're right.
You know?
You're wow, 30 years.
Well, 25.
Yeah, 20 right. Yeah.
What if the trial was
Early
over
80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you realize what an influence you had on Dominick's life?
Kind of. Uh, the first time that I learned that was the time that he left Denise and ran away to Los Angeles, living with a girlfriend, and that's when we couldn't. We had lost him for 2 weeks. We hadn't heard from him. We didn't know where he was, and he was going to go to work as the security director for a Colombian drug cartel for some big salary. And he told me, so finally, the next day after we figured out he was missing, Denise had confirmed he had left. And he called me and said to me, oh, you, like as usual, what's going on? You know, Dominick, where are you? I'm in LA. Where you living? I'm with a girlfriend. And then he told me the story. He was going to go with the drug guys and stuff. And he said, I figured out a couple of things. One, that when you go to work for a cartel, it's great while you're working, but if you want to leave, you leave feet first. But he says the next thing I figured out was the only friends I really have are you guys. And I wouldn't know what to do if I didn't have you guys to talk with and be friends. And
Oh,
we
he
were.
mentions to this
We
day
were.
you and Frank as being the two really main pillars of influence that steered him.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we just did, you know, because you're not always, you know, it doesn't always work out. You're not always the best friend of every witness. I mean, Freddy DiName, you couldn't be. I mean, I couldn't ever be best friends with Freddy DiName. I actually, I found him despicable. But I mean, I had to talk to him. I had to, you know, and get his, you know, cooperation with us.
Right.
But I didn't like him, and he knew it. I mean, he knew that I didn't really like him.
I mean, I would never try and run two of them over in the car, in my car.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, that
Frank,
was extreme. You know.
Frank brought up an interesting point too. As far as like everyone that was involved in the case, I'm the only one like still standing. You know, and out there.
Out of our crew.
Yeah, at our crew, not the West.
Right. Vito got killed
Robbery.
robbing a music store.
And Freddie, we still don't know how he died, whether it was a suicide or a mistake.
They don't know. They don't know if he intended to kill himself. Although Kenny and I kind of, we think he did intend to kill himself. He was so depressed and taking all these pills and drugs. He was strung out when we saw him that afternoon.
Right.
And I can't think of any really other witnesses.
You know, it's really weird when, I mean, I know Henry like really well. And it's really weird when you just hang out together. You know, we used to do business together and stuff. And he was basically my eyes and ears inside
In the crew, yeah.
You know, and you know, you don't really. It's like we were discussing with Frank. You know, when you're in that life, it's not like you're really doing stuff wrong because everybody around you is doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's what everybody does.
Yeah. So
Right.
you're just hanging out in this this vacuum.
Yep.
You know, and the rest of the world could go fuck themselves. You know.
Yeah.
Because this is you and this is what you do. You know.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
And that was one of the things why I say how much you guys changed my life is when I got out of that vacuum. I started to see, like, you know,
There's another world out
there's a
there.
right and there's a wrong. You know.
Yep. Well, you know, I go back to, you know, that along the way you had some moral GPS working up in here that said, you know, I can't really go all the way and be one of these, you know, over the edge and be one of these killers.
Well, it would have been real hard to been like them.
Right.
I mean, because they were just. I wasn't a psycho.
Right, right. I mean,
They were
these guys,
crazy.
right, I think they were.
Even when I had no morals and was doing,
Right,
you know, all the bad shit,
right.
you know, I still wasn't insane. I mean, you know, I mean, I remember I got in the car with Joey and Anthony one time. They came over and picked me up. They wanted to go to the city and party. And we're driving. Anthony had that big 6.9 black Mercedes, and we're driving into the city. I'm in the back seat, and I'm saying to myself, you know, I don't even know if I'm going to come out of this night alive. Because I don't know. They never wanted to hang out with me. And all of a sudden, I got the call, and they said, you know, we're going to the city. You should come with us, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I had my shit with me, but it was just like, I never thought I was going to come home that night.
Well, I think that lots of people we used to talk to that never thought they would, you know, you get in the car with Roy DeMeo, you didn't know if you were going to get out of that car.
Well, Roy, I had an edge on because of Nino. Yeah. But the way they operated, it's just like when I left for California and disappeared. They could have did that to me, chopped me up in pieces, and Nino would have never expected it.
Right.
You know,
Right.
or suspected it.
Actually, if they'd had Nino said anything, boy, they would be more than happy to do it.
Well, that's what got me when I was in the can when Gene Green and Nicky Barnes' crew came up, you know, and said that there was a contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.